So, definitions that we never need to forget. Temporal lobe. Temporal lobe. So the temporal lobe is like only bound to temporal processing. No matter how you see long, short days, temporal stuff, temporal space, temporal memory, temporal time, temporal XYZ, temporal processing only of that dimension or width if you're in 40. Another extra additional dimension, temporal lobe. Temporal processing only temporal. For this to become permanent, filter flash. You filter, you flash. So you have to have no temporal lobe. So that's the idea. The temporal lobe gives you a new temporal lobe that has the old information of both two temporal lobes to give you persistent information. Persistent lobe. Temporal lobe, persistent lobe. It remembers. It really knows the past. Like when you have kids. Perceptual membrane. The part of your brain that's actively processing that information. That's actually doing it. So you can have like a perception of something, my reality, our reality, the nature of our being, ontological reality, me, myself, and I. But we're perceiving it in real time. This is what I'm saying to you guys. The perceptual lobe can be temporal too, but it can be temporal lobe. But if you have two perceptual lobes, they are the senses you're using to experience that thing. That's your reality. Your persistent lobe, but you get a temporal persistent lobe, and you get a temporal perception membrane. The thing doing that processing, because the membrane remembers based on quality solid. But person membranes can make two perception. You can have two models, two from different realities interchange when that's auto intersects, and then we perceive a new thing to create some kind of unique someone that's unique in that thing with that ability to process that information. But now process better. It's called feature evolution. So you get a new feature like a new a thumb that thumb needs to have a thing called thumb that is more for picking up something in like a right side of the tree that kind of something that changes the way they do stuff because they don't need to do it anymore. The thing about it, because the person is just being shrunk into this for easier processing. You can model this as a half to half model, a quarter to a quarter model, because these two share two states based on senses. For example, if I have ears, if you go to the whale or deep ocean, it's just darkness, darkness to the very bottom. If my whale, a whale with a big temporal lobe, with the best survival factors, I go to the bottom, 100 meters depth. I go down. There's no sound, no nothing. So I have to develop my own mechanic, but I have to ensure that I process it properly, so I get what I need. So this is the model of Walia. I'm gonna give you again. So the temporal lobe is the temporal processing, and the perception lobe is like what it's saying. But it's store memory. So and then you get your memory, your navigation. So basically, you are what I call the auxiliary function. So basically, what you consider yourself, you can do that thing, but you don't have to. In the worst case, you can, if you don't do that thing, you get another way to do it. Because say today you are going with your welfare, and you go with your say today I was meant to go with a human being to basically. Don't worry about that. Let me just come here first. Let me come here first and try to give you what I'm trying to say. I need to just get this properly. So basically, a memory is a model. This is a memory model of three-way memory model. It's a tripartite memory model. So, for example, you are auxiliary. Only you are the auxiliary construction. Because you are bound to change. You are bound to change. But for you to change, you have to have the best life possible. The best scenario is to ensure change is not breaking your you have to rebuild yourself. You don't have to repair yourself, and you don't have to build, repair. There's one more. Build, repair, and one more. Change. No, because build, repair, or break something in your framework. Which I'm saying. The temporal model. So you get temporal lobe, temporal processing, lobe of processing information, information of processing, like the perception membrane, what you're actually processing in that time. And you get the auxiliary membrane. So the auxiliary membrane is you, but how well you can do it. It's like you, myself, and I, based on your current status. If you don't understand it, just think of it as the dream code repairing itself, but before it repairs itself. Basically, you can do that thing perfectly, but you don't want to take the biggest step to do it. You just take the short steps. Basically, if I'm a whale, I can dive to the very bottom to get to some. If I can dive 200 meters maximum, I'll go and I say, oh, there's not enough food. There's enough food 200 meters, or there's more food 200 meters. But I want to dive. Then one point, once I go 100 or 200 meters, 200 miles under the sea. I'll just dive 100 miles, so I can go back up to the surface. Because just if I eat 100 miles, I can come and breathe in 1 hour's time, and breathe air. So if I eat on the bottom krill 100 miles, and because I already eat 100 miles, and there's more krill or 200 miles, I don't need to do dive because it's depth. It's that certainly of depth. Because I don't really want to use my energy to do that. But if 200 miles are not your target, and there's a new option 100 miles up, there's no point of me going 200 miles anymore, or 200 miles under the sea to do it. This is what I mean temporal moon action. For example, the sea is very dark, and it's not. There's a lot of waves, and the deeper you go, the darker, the dimmer it gets, and the kind of the hardest for you to sustain yourself. So you just think about maybe sometimes you don't really think about that. You just have to go down deep, 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 deep. So the idea of this is to have you as the auxiliary system. You are actively navigating system, because 100 miles is nothing to you. It's not to you, and 200 miles is nothing to you. There's no reason to to go 200 miles. But if you're more able to do other things, and sustain yourself for happier, better life. Basically, sustain your features, keep the stress out of your body, and the krill and the barnacles. Then you just go 100 miles, because there's no point ever again of going 200 miles, because you are auxiliary. You just know that 100 miles is not 200 miles, based on the senses you perceive. And how this works in the real world is really important to understand. So I really got my memory model here. Here. So we got the temporal lobe and sea diving. So the temporal lobe is the process. You are auxiliary temporal. It doesn't really matter how you switch it. It really matters how you context switch. You navigate that scenario of that environment you are in. But it doesn't really matter what the environment is per se. As long as you can do it, it doesn't really matter for anybody else. Example, we humans can dive. We can't dive as much as the whales. We know that. We dive in a breath. We have to go about 15 meters to go up. Every 15 minutes we go up the surface, because that will pop our lungs in the sea. Because we're not native to the sea. Our color wasn't built on the infrastructure. Our evolution is more land dwelling, but we can swim. But we've evolved, we diverged from it because we are more used to sustain on land. But that doesn't mean we can't go back to the sea and live there if we wanted to. It's just that we have to go safely. Like if I go 15 miles myself, 15 meters, I have to dive in every 15 meters. To ensure that I don't pop my own consciousness quality up, which is what skydivers do. Sea divers do. They don't dive 30 meters down. They take oxygen. They stabilize at 15 meters. This should never be a problem with my friend anyway. I suppose because 15 minutes depth, and then you rest for for 5 minutes, for like 5 to 20 minutes, 5 to 20 minutes, and you have that's 5 to 20 minutes, which is the sea diver standard. And you go there for 15 minutes. It's like a cycle of like ensuring that you get there. You're at with your auxiliary function. Where's my other thing here? So the auxiliary system must ensure that the sparse topology function isn't rigid, because consciousness is must be flexible. It's not meant to hide some kind of defect in you. Where is it, MG? So, for example, if the chamber is perfect, you don't need to ever leave it, but you need to mature as your environment changes, which is why you have that auxiliary mechanic in you. because you know your environment is very drastic, but you are perfect. So the environment is trying to actually destroy you. Because you know when you come to UK and you're cold, you go to Nigeria and you're too hot. It's a different type change of environment, a different change of living, a different change of habitat, a different type of doing something, a habit you have to get into to ensure you get that thing done. No matter your circumstance situation, it's just what it is, or you will degrade naturally in a system that is sustaining. Um, what I'm saying to you guys, it's not that the system is hostile. It's not system is hostile. In the worst case, you are perfect, but you know the system is not perfect. So, especially when it comes to psychology, manipulation, and stuff like that, you know, things that are lack equity at scale or perfect equilibrium via consensus models. So, I'm gonna give you this now. This is very bad drawing, guys. So this is like my brain. Say my ears there, and my ears temporal lobe. Basically, if my ear just like my eardrum's right inside my ear, but I just basically picks up the sound, everything. The sound in the eardrum is log n. Because you know the headset I'm building for it, so it cuts down the noise half scale. Basically, any sound you hear, I'm hearing right now, is half the sound. Because it's here, you know, when I'm watching something, basically the sound goes to my ears, it gets compressed into my, you know, but you know, I get I get the signal half, so I get double like a you know, no matter how you shout, you know, if you shout right